Traditional valuations purely focus on essentially the numbers. In other words, how much either revenue is it generating or what is the profit that's generating, it's EBITDA. And you then take a multiplier of those. So in revenue it might be 1 to 2 times revenue, or on an EBITDA multiple, for most companies you might see 3 to 4 times. And it's a very mechanistic approach. It's a bit like riding a bike with only one gear. What intangible assets enable you to do is to attach the gears at the back and the gears at the front so that you can get above that traditional 3 to 4 times EBITDA multiplier and get up, and we've seen ranges going up as high as 67 times EBITDA. And the reason that it was worth 67 times EBITDA is because that's what it was worth to the buyer. And the challenge with intangible asset valuations is that you need to try and identify who that asset is potentially worth that amount to. And this is really where a lot of the hard work comes in, is identifying the potential buyers of those assets and then valuing it on what it's potentially worth for them. And a very simple approach is, for example, if you're dealing with a listed company, traditional listed companies operate on essentially EBITDA multipliers of sometimes between 10 to 14. So if you're selling to a listed company, then that's potentially what it's worth to them, is 10 to 14. With the other client that I mentioned, where it ended up being sold for 67 times EBITDA, is because that's what it was worth to them as a buyer. And the numbers were still important, however, it really came down to the quality of the asset. In other words, this particular asset was operating like a keystone. When you build an arch, it was the final piece of their puzzle, which also made it incredibly valuable. And then the third is the potentiality of that, and that's what they were able to do with that asset to generate those exponential rates of return.